Okay, let me give you the 10 most important things in work comp, okay? And I wrote them down for you because I want to cover them with you as quickly and as concise as I can. First one is you have to hire an experienced lawyer. And that might sound like it's obvious, but ask the lawyer how many of these you do. If they only handle 10 or 20 cases at a time, my firm has 126 today. We try to keep no more than 140 because we don't want to spread ourselves thin. We want to make sure every client gets the kind of attention so that we have a cap, but we do a lot of it. So that's number one. Number two is when you pick the right lawyer in comp, he will help you get to the right doctor to get the right care for the right deposition so you can get the right trial results. So that's the second thing they do. The third thing that's difficult for people to avoid is stay off of social media. The defendants will look, and if you go to the county fair and you're riding on a ride, they're going to see it. And they'll also look at your cousins and your friends' websites to see if they're posting pictures of you at the county fair. So you stay off of that. We tell them that. They put surveillance on you, and we know when they're going to do it because we've done this for so long. They will have people, especially if you have a neighbor who doesn't like you, they might film through his kitchen window. They'll film you in your backyard. They'll film you when hunting season comes because they know you're going to hunt. They'll film you when it snows because they know you're going to get out there with the shovel and shovel. So we tell our folks, these are the times, we give them a list. If they're going to put surveillance on you, that's when they'll do it. IMEs, the employer has the right to send you to an exam. We know everyone they're going to send you to. We've been doing this for 32 years. So if it's a spine case, there's about 10 guys and we know them all, we depose them all, and we keep lists of prior deposition testimony. So when we go in, if he says something that's inconsistent with what he said 5 years ago in another case, we know it. Occasionally, they will cut off your benefits early and you can get what's called an emergency hearing. And I'm going to tell you right now, it sounds like it should happen right away, but it doesn't. It's supposed to happen within 30 days from the day we ask for a hearing. I wish it did. And any lawyer who tells you it does is lying to you. We can file for it within 30 days, probably get it within 60, and then we have to wait for the judge's decision. And we know during this whole time you don't have any money coming in. We know you're injured. We know you want to know what's going on. That's why we will push and push and push. Unfortunately, when we do go to trial and we do win for you, it doesn't matter how many surgeries you have. We cannot win you pain and suffering. It's not allowed in work comp. What we're allowed to get you is what you've lost in terms of functionality. So if you used to be able to lift X amount of pounds and you can't, or used to be able to do this and you can't, there's not a formula, but there's a way that we all know how to calculate these. So we know the ranges of them. If we don't get it in the range we want, go to trial. You know, the defendants don't want a trial. Trial leaves open medical. We always will go to trial because that will force that dollar amount to go up. They'll pay you more so they don't have to pay you medical in the future. And sometimes you'll take that money because you're not worried about the future. And sometimes I look you in the eyes and say, I know this is more money, we're turning it down, but you'll be happier in the long run that you did. There's no discovery. So what's interesting about that means in civil lawsuits, the defendants have to tell me everyone who they're going to call at trial. And I get to go ask them questions before the trial. In work comp, that doesn't happen. Work comp lawyer is the bravest lawyer in the world because your life depends on the outcome, and the defendant shows up with 7 witnesses and you don't even know their names. You have no idea what they're going to say, and you have to cross-examine them on the spot right then at trial. So work comp lawyers learn to think really fast, and they usually have nerves of steel. How cases are valued, again, the body has values assigned to it. An arm is worth X number of dollars, hand, thumbs, everything, down to eyes, down to testicles. Everything has a value. And if you lose something, it's given a number. Well, it seems unfair because here's why. If I'm 25 years old and I lose a finger, it'll affect me for the next 40 years of work. If I'm 60 years old and I lose that finger, it's only going to affect me for another year or two, but we still are probably getting the same percentage of loss of function. If it doesn't work, we all have the same kind of injury. The problem is, for me as a lawyer, a bad knee doesn't really affect me that much. For you, if you work in a steel mill, it affects you a lot, yet we're going to get the same kind of award. In fact, because there's a formula, and the formula is based on your income, the people who make more money, the older people, tend to get a bigger award than the younger people who are actually going to be injured longer with that injury. So our job is to force that number as high as possible, and how we force that number to get you the most money as high as possible is when you have the right doctors. And the right doctors will be able to talk about what the future is going to hold for you. And that makes trial a real threat to the defendant. Trial is everything, because trial leaves medical open, and they do not want that. So if you want to get the most money for your case, you come to a lawyer who has the doctors who know what they're doing, and lawyers who know what they're doing and aren't afraid to do it. And they're not lazy. You get that lawyer and you're going to be okay. If you pick somebody who doesn't do this all the time, then you're in trouble. So that leads to the last thing we're going to talk about is trial versus settlement. Settlements are easy. We do the calculations. We tell you what the ranges are. We'll tell you whether we think that's a good idea to settle or not. And the biggest factors are, one is how strong your case is, and two is, do you need future medical? If you and I have the same exact injury, but I have witnesses to mine and you don't, my case is stronger. So I'm likely to be able to force a bigger number. If I make more money than you do for the same injury, I'm going to get more money. But again, we always go back to the biggest factor is the medical care. Medical care is more important than the dollars, because the medical care will drive the dollars, okay? And we only talk about dollars only because that's the only thing insurance companies respond to is dollars. They don't care about you. You're just a file number. What they care about is closing that file and having no future risk. So again, you have to pick a lawyer like my partner Holly, who has tried dozens of these in the last 2 or 3 years and won all but one in the last, I think, 3 years. You have to have somebody like her who says, I'll try this every day. I'll try it every day of the week. I'll try 2 a week. She is not afraid at all. That's the lawyer you want.